And here we are on Facebook Live with Daphne Bennink at the Back Porch Restaurant.
Hi.
Back in the kitchen where all the magic happens.
Nerve center.
Okay.
So, in the spirit of all things Figgy, I thought I would share with you all my Figgy Fizz cocktail base.
Yum.
Which is a really beautiful way to showcase the best fake producing tree that I have equity in is the Lights of Realty one, which are these purple figs. I'm not too good at the fig
I think
names.
they are blue figs.
Okay.
Because it's the same kind I have at my house.
And they, when pureed, they produce this absolutely beautiful fuchsia-like color, which I just can't get enough of. So I love that. They also are really meaty and I think quite flavorful. In my opinion, a little more flavorful than the little sweet sugar figs, which are just so sweet. But they're all wonderful, so I don't want to be fig prejudiced here. So it's simply 3 ingredients here. I use Persian limes. A Persian lime is a hybrid of a key lime and a lemon. And so it produces a seedless, fleshy, juicy lime. Pick out the big one. So I've had these sitting out at room temperature. If
Okay,
you don't know
room temperature.
already, room temperature fruit is going to yield a lot more juice than a cold one. So the recipe that I make is a pound of figs, which yields approximately 2 cups of puree, a cup of lemon juice or lime juice, which I'm working on here, and a cup of simple syrup. Simple syrup is a 2 parts sugar to 1 part water, and you want to cook that on the stove just until the sugar melts so that you have a syrup. You can use, I wouldn't recommend honey because of the flavor, and the flavor of honey is very pronounced. It's good. You could, but it's going to change everything. So unless you want.
What about like Caro syrup?
You could use Caro syrup. I personally am not a big fructose corn syrup. I just don't use that. Pecan pie is about the only thing that I've not been able to not use that for.
The first time I ever made a pecan pie for my husband, Rob, who wanted one, when I had to buy, that was the first time I ever bought Caro syrup and looked at it. It was like, this is what a pecan pie is.
Yeah,
that's how I felt.
It's a lot of sugar, but it's
a lot of sugar.
Too.
Yes, it's very good.
Perfection.
Yes.
You could use agave syrup,
Oh,
which
okay.
is easily available these days. The only thing with the agave syrup is that it's not as soluble. The simple syrup is very water soluble.
Right.
So that when you mix it with your other ingredients, it mixes well. The agave syrup tends to kind of seize a little bit. I have trouble mixing it in, and then I get impatient to drink my drink. So I've got 4 of these Persian limes, which should yield about a cup of lime juice.
Okay.
They're pretty consistent in size, so I'm not going to worry about measuring out my lime juice. And I'm going to juice them with this juicer that I've had for years.
Nice.
Bought at a yard sale. It belonged to Julie Howard.
Julie Howard. Shout out to Julie Howard.
She sold her house on Lighthouse Road. I acquired this baby and I use it all the time.
That's funny because I bought a nut chopper from Julie Howard when she had her yard sale that I use all the time still.
And this thing, like, it doesn't seem very heavy duty. And a lot of times in a restaurant application, the motors are going to go, but this baby is held up. But you can see the yield of juice on these limes.
Yes, a lot of juice coming out there. Juicy lime.
You know what? It's so old that all of the stuff is I don't know. I'm going to guess it to be a sunbeam or a Kenmore, something kind of. I don't know.
Old school like that.
Yeah. So that's something to look for. Any thrift shoppers, junk borrowers. You see this. And when you pause on the juicing and go back down, it goes in the opposite direction.
Oh, nice.
I've got my lime juice, and I've weighed out my figs. I've got a pound of figs, a cup of simple syrup. I'm going to start, and this is a Vitamix blender. You can use a food processor. A blender, I think, is better because the shape of the blender is more, it's a smaller cylinder, so that everything's going to come down and you should get a finer blend. A good quality food processor will work as well. And I suppose a stick blender may work also. The other thing I did is I go for, because this was being filmed, I drew the line at ugly and pretty figs, but you want to go as ripe as possible. The riper your fig, the more sweetness and flavor you're going to get out of it.
Yes.
So I've got,
and they're not always as pretty as the,
that's correct.
they start to split.
I've got my cup of simple syrup.
For those of you watching, I will type this up, the recipe.
8
put in
ounces,
the
so
notes.
it's right on, spot on for the money.
Nice.
Lime juice. And that is it. I'm going to blend it.
Look how pretty that is.
And another thing that happens, which is kind of weird, and I can't explain why, but as this mellows, the color actually kind of develops and brightens. And I don't know if it might be a chemical reaction between the citrus juice and the fig, possibly. But just to kind of show, so what I do is I sell this at the market, and I just put it in these little squeeze bottles.
And you've been selling out of it, haven't you?
We've been selling the heck out of this stuff.
And everything else figgy, right?
And everything else figgy.
And how long will you keep making stuff with figs for the market?
As long as I have the figs.
Okay.
So my next venture, and as anyone that does preserves knows, actual mason jars are a bit of an issue, like so many DIY products these days.
Oh, really? There's a shortage on jars.
So I have,
Oh, I didn't know that.
unless I never get them, I was able to order them successfully from Amazon.
Okay.
So my plan is soon to make I've got a lot of figs to preserve.
Right. Okay.
And I've actually been selling them by the pound at the market, which nobody normally does that. And
No, they've been selling them like by the fig.
I took pity on our visitors that don't have access to a fig tree full of ripe figs. So,
Good.
So this is what we sell, and
All right. And how much is one of those jars?
$12.
$12. Okay.
And so we use it to make, we did, last year we made Figgy Gin Fizz cocktails. And what I found is that it pairs beautifully with any light liquor. Vodka, of course, would be an obvious one. Light tequila, which is what I've taken out in honor of Sunday and I's relationship with tequila.
We have a history.
We have a bit of a history. Light rum would work really nicely. Of course, gin. And so we mix, we put some of the cocktail base in the glass, and I'll be displaying, showing that. Oh
yeah.
And maybe I'll just go from the picture since
it's not
I
squeezing out.
The airlock.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm
All
gonna
right.
put
So you
my fig
put
base in there.
it did ice and then fig
Got
base.
some ice. And I've got some tequila here. Blanco. And what I'm gonna do,
My mouth is watering.
in order to blend that nicely, is I'm just gonna go
Oh,
back and forth
okay.
a few times. This is a bartender's trick right
Of
here.
course.
Since I'm a semi-pro as a bar owner, a little bit more ice in there, and I'm going to top it off with a little fizz. I normally would not use necessarily Pellegrino, which is a bit salty, but that's all I had in small bottles. So.
Okay.
Club soda.
Yeah,
Perrier.
that's what I was using at home with the mojito mix.
So,
The mojito mix that you can get at the market is also delicious.
and what we may do here is garnish
With a lime.
lime and
What a beautiful drink.
I forgot my most important garnish. I'll be right back. Oh my goodness.
That is gorgeous. I just want to drink it. Why is it just sitting there?
She said she's going to get more garnish.
Yeah, she's getting something for garnish.
I'm in suspense. I want to know what it is.
Maybe a little fig? Oh, yes, a little fig. Of course. We need an extra fig.
I like to kind of slice them on the bias.
All right.
Slice real nice.
Oh, wow.
Oh, look how adorable.
Yeah.
That is beautiful.
So there's 3 of us, so we don't want to leave anyone out.
Yes, I brought Katie here as a treat. Katie's been working really hard filling the orders for the t-shirts and everything that people have been ordering online. After we told them they could, she's getting a lot of orders.
She's been riding her bike, so she's thirsty.
Yes. Yeah, and there's the Pellegrino.
Fizz.
I see Laura McLean is watching. She has a little bit of a tequila history with us too.
It's part of the tribe, the tequila tribe, Laura. We'll have
She enjoyed the mojitos with me on my birthday.
Yeah, we've actually done surprisingly well with these cocktail bases. And
Well, people miss the bar.
yeah, they miss the bar. I miss the bars.
But you can say how much you like doing the market, because that has been a
Yes.
new thing that's been really great.
The market
And Laura
has-
says hi gals, she says.
The market's been a lot of fun because it's allowed me to be real creative and kind of do whatever I want instead of what Back Porch expected of me.
Right, and what was on the fixed menu? Yeah.
And I can make things and people seem to really like what I'm making
And you get to have your cocktail hour at a
and
normal
have my cocktail
time.
hour at home. And
Laura says tequila goes with everything. Yes,
tequila
even
does.
figs.
It's kind of my new go-to these days. I've really been enjoying some
Oh,
nice.
look how beautiful.
So,
All right, there's Katie.
somebody's-
And here's mine. Woo. All right. So we can all cheers. Cheers. And I want to see Katie's face when she takes a drink.
Oh, wow. That's really good.
See, we need a reaction.
and you know, I will say,
I have to set mine down so I can take my mask off enough to take a drink.
and a nice quality tequila goes a long way. I know a lot of budgets don't allow for some of the top shelf ones, but the flavor factor is just like notably exponentially better.
Yeah.
You really get that beautiful tequila flavor, and I've noticed that some less expensive tequilas have less of that flavor coming through.
Yeah.
So anybody out there who thought they liked a margarita needs to try a figarita, a fizzy fig. Is that, what do you call it? Figgy Fizz?
Figgy Fizz.
Figgy Fizz.
If we have a few more, we'll come up with something.
This is wonderful. All right. Anything else you want to say about what other fig stuff are you making for the market?
So, we're making little fig cakes with cream cheese frosting, which is a back porch version of the traditional fig cake that is kind of naked, if you will. I made some little miniature traditional fig cakes. And I also made some butter streusel fig bars, which is sort of a butter cookie base with a fig center and then a butter streusel top.
Wow.
And I'm looking at a this sort of German sponge tart that is like an invert. It's like an upside down tart pan,
Mhm.
and so you make a sponge, and then you fill it with custard and then fresh fruit. So
Nice.
it's on my list, and I don't know, it might not be successful, but if it is, it'll be really pretty and nice, like a European style fruit tart.
Yeah,
It's
nice.
got a custard base and fresh raw fruit on top and a glaze.
So the figs are coming from the fig tree, mostly next to Lightship Realty,
Mostly next to, yeah.
where you
this
have a
one
no
time-
pick 'em the fig 'em sign. So
Angie Todd at Angie's Gym has always shared, very generously shared
Ah.
the figs, which are
Okay.
earlier than the purple figs. So
Right, okay.
We started with those and did those little fig. We also did fig prosciutto plates.
That's right. Mhm.
Which is
This
just,
one's so good.
oh, it's not even funny how good that is. Yeah, it's really good. Wow.
Yes.
It's just a peanut butter and jelly type of relationship.
figs and prosciutto.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Oh,
know.
yeah.
All right. Well, the Back Porch Market is open 12 to 5 Tuesday through Saturday. And you come in through the screen porch part and you find all kinds of goodies. All right. Anything else? All right.
Cheers.
What do you think? Bye. Cheers.